What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you. We finally reached 50,000 subscribers. Honestly, I can't even believe it. I remember when we just had, 100, right? And it wasn't that long ago. So we've been moving up very quickly. And I just want to say thank you so much for all the support. I do have a special surprise coming up in the next few days to sort of give my thanks back to y'all for this. So honestly, I'm completely honored, and honestly, every day I'm surprised that people would even tune in to watch me, blab my mouth about things. So at the end of the day, I couldn't do any of this without you. So from the bottom of my heart, I mean that. Thank you. Now, let's get to this awesome video that I have. Okay, recently, Jake Barber from Skywatcher was on a YouTube channel called Watch Mojo, which they just started doing interviews, and they've been covering the UFOs actually quite a bit, to be honest with you. They had Luis Elizondo on, and now they've had Jake Barber and Matthew Pines. But specifically, we're going to take a look at a clip from Jake Barber talking about this thing called the dog whistle. You may or may not have heard of this. It's basically a way to call UFOs out, right, and be able to capture them, right? Some sort of signal that gets put out like a dog whistle, and then the dogs come a-running. You know what I mean? The UFOs, right? So we're going to explore that today, and what are the implications of that, and what is the technology behind it, right? So let's dive in. Now, before we get started, please hit that like button, Vetters. That helps out the video so much. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, y'all. I put out new videos every week about the UFO phenomena. Let's go. Now, let's get to clip number one. Jake Barber of Skywatcher on Watch Mojo talking about this dog whistle.
Just to follow up on the two methods, I'm curious to know how you determined that these two methods were worthy of experimenting with. Is there a history of military use of these methods? And are there any other methods that you are aware of that you haven't yet integrated into your field experiments?
Yeah, good question. So we got here because there is a history with it. So members of our team that we put together under Skywatcher, like my partner James Fowler, who's been making his way out there as of late, telling his story. He was featured in episode 2 of Skywatcher, and he's out there doing podcasts now. James is the engineer of our dog whistle system that was originally, it's where our name Skywatcher comes from. It's a Skywatcher system that he put together in his past life, if you will, and has been deploying the dog whistle system, which we did call Skywatcher, and has been conducting operations for a number of entities in the government and outside of the government for years now. It's been a system that's been developed, I would say, mostly over the last 6 years, and has proven itself to be unique in the form that nobody else seems to be able to mimic its results, let alone the method. And I do have to say, like, we do keep the dog whistle configuration and how we do it. We keep that pretty close to our chest, and that's not because we're being unreasonably secretive. It's our secret sauce, and it's something we're very proud of, and a lot of time and energy has been invested in developing that system. And we aren't sure exactly how serious the implications are of running this equipment. So I think there's as much responsibility in keeping this private and trying to get as many government agencies involved who have the responsibility when it comes to national defense and also air domain awareness. And so we're trying to work with them to make sure that, because there's a Pandora's box here that could be opened. And if we aren't prepared to deal with that, that could pose a number of problems.
Now, you just heard Jake Barber talk about a gentleman named James Fowler, who was behind the dog whistle technology that Skywatcher uses. It even inspired the name. I've got a couple clips from Skywatcher's episode 2 that's available on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description. But I want to play a couple clips from that introduces James Fowler and let him describe a little bit more of what exactly this dog whistle technology is. Before we get to that, I got to keep the mics on, y'all. So here's a word from today's sponsor, Manscaped. It's time to talk about my balls again, because the sponsor of today's video is Manscaped. And they sent me this awesome new razor. It's the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Special Edition. It even comes with some boxers you can see right here to keep my little limes in check, y'all. Now listen, I've always said I am a active user of Manscaped. So before they ever started sponsoring vetted videos, I've been using Manscaped for years. So I absolutely recommend this product and this new lawnmower. I cannot wait to get on my balls. This is just how it goes. Men have hair issues and they got to take care of them somehow. This is a great product. It does a lot of things. It's got a lot of features. I highly recommend using it. Again, I'm an active user of Manscaped, so I would like to thank Manscaped for sponsoring, because I get to talk about a product that I actually use and tell y'all about it. Now, the great thing about this new product is it has a dual temp LED spotlight, as well as an interchangeable dual head system. It's also waterproof. And the best part, it comes with this awesome carrying case. So please use my code down below, VETTED, vetted. Use the promo code. Link is in the description. Go check it out, y'all. Again, keep your balls safe. Use Manscaped. Now, here's a couple clips from Skywatcher's episode 2 to help describe a little bit more about this dog whistle technology from none other than Skywatcher's own James Fowler.
I'm excited to have a discussion today with James Fowler, who leads the technology side of Skywatcher and has collected some very, very interesting data that we are going to be taking a closer look at today. James, thank you so much for joining me.
Happy to be here.
James, could you explain just a little, go into maybe a little bit more depth on this dog whistle, this apparent capability or technological element that potentially appears to attract UAP?
We have turned on our equipment that we've customized and created what we believe is a dog whistle, and UAPs show up. So through that process, we started a systematic cause and effect, if you will, experimentation. And we've arrived at some very custom capabilities that when we deploy these capabilities, we get different UAP responses. Every time we turn on this equipment and do the things we need to do for the right amount of time, we get a response every time. And we've also experimented with not using the equipment and seeing if we see things, and we have not, which is interesting because all of our data has been daytime. We have no data from night. None of our data are lights in the sky that you have to squint your eyes and put your finger on your nose and hope you see what you want to see. No, our data is broad daylight, often well lit like this, maybe in a desert, data that's very viewable. We've had over 300 sorties now of UAP incursions.
So now we get a little bit better idea about what this technology is. Now the sort of, the secret sauce, as Jake Barber puts it, probably will never come out. They'll keep that close to the chest, I would imagine. I don't know. I don't really know how any of this works. They seem to think that this technology works, right? There's no public proof of it. There's definitely a lot of evidence. And am I skeptical? Well, yeah, but for many reasons, right? But that doesn't mean it's not true or it can't happen. I'm not there. If I don't see anything, I don't know what's going on. I'm not an expert in any of this. So I'm not skeptical in the sense that, there's no way that could be true. I just am skeptical in a baseline, right? Just kind of like, well, I need to see some proof to believe that personally, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't look into it. Doesn't mean I wouldn't respect the data that they put out and look at. I mean, they're the ones spending the money and the resources and the time to do this. So it's their journey, and I'm happy to cover it and look at it and support it in any way I can, because if it does bring something out, then great, right? So why not support it? To be honest with you, I really just don't see the point of not. Now, if they're asking you to put in money or something, that may be a different issue and a different line to cross. But at this point, they're not asking for any of that. They just want to do their thing and release the data, and you can do what you want with it. I don't see anything wrong with that. Right now, we could get into what are the implications of some sort of technology like this, right? Like Jake Barber describes, a Pandora's box, right? Of what could we uncover by doing this dog whistle? What if it brings out all the different UAP from all kinds of different places, right? What if it brings dogs you're not prepared for, right? That would be my biggest question, right? And if you don't fully understand what it's going to do is using it the right method. Well, I did think about that, and at first that was sort of my thought, right? Like, why would you use it if you don't really know what it can do entirely, right? But at the same time, that's how do we do anything in life, right? There are going to be risks, right? Even if you remember Oppenheimer, right? There was a small chance that it could, I forget what the exact term was, but like, create a chain reaction that could, eliminate part of Earth, right? When they were going to let off the first atomic bomb, right? So nuclear explosion, right? And I get it, right? But they still took the chance because we've got to move forward in things, right? So is this one of those things? Is this basically another Oppenheimer moment, right? So, look, I'm all in. What is this dog whistle technology, right? Well, we find out. I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't really care. It's probably too technical and way above my head, but does it work, right? Can it land a craft? Because that's really what I want to know about.
I don't think it's been said here, but it's important. Our number one goal that's on paper is material recovery. We want to get our hands on exotic material, and we want to do that in a legal and ethical way. And so that's the best case scenario right now, as far as our business plan goes, is to, stuff in the sky is cool, but we would love an opportunity to invite something to land or get a donation, whatever you call it. We want to get exotic material, because then that really starts. Now we have something that basically ushers in the revolution of scientific study when it comes to this stuff, something that is in a quantity enough that it can be shared with everyone, and that starts over a whole nother frontier right there, when we have something tangible in hand in the form of material that can be researched by everyone.
All right, Jake, let's go, boy. Let's get this going. I'm in. That would be the ultimate goal. If Skywatcher can get a craft to land and we get some, either the full craft or we get some material, something that can be studied globally, accepted scientifically, to move this forward and, like Jake just said, usher in a revolution, right? These are big claims. These are big promises, right? That, if they can't, what sort of hurdles are they going to face because of this, right? You're kind of starting at the top. Does that make sense? You're starting at the very top here, right? Of we're going to do this, right? So this is a lot. This is definitely a lot to take in. And again, using this, I guess, patented dog whistle technology, we'll see if they'll be able to do it. I, for one, am going to stick around and see. I'm going to give them some runway, right? That's what we should do. We got to give people the benefit of the doubt, give them some runway, see what they can do. They just got started, right? So I'm a patient person, and I can wait around. I understand if some people aren't patient and just want things. I get it. Everyone's got their own journey in this, essentially, right? Your journey is not reflective of someone else's, right? So just remember that. Don't get angry at other people that may not think the same way you do, right? There's nothing wrong with thinking individually, right? That's okay. And everyone should be allowed their opinion. And my opinion, as long as it's respectful, of course, at least in the vetted community. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Will they land a craft? Will they get some exotic material that can be studied outside of Skywatcher? And will that technology that's used to, quote, dog whistle ever come out, right? I have seen other posts and other videos from other people claiming they also have some sort of quote, dog whistle technology to sort of bring out these craft. I doubt it's the same. So the idea that there's different ways to do it is kind of interesting, because Jake also brings that up. There's other meditative, responses to bringing out some of these craft?
On the neuromeditative side, there's a large body of evidence that this has been something that has been, there's been a huge interest in this, both in the military worldwide and the broader intelligence community worldwide. Anyone can do their research and look into, remote viewing and the programs associated with that. A number of other programs associated with human consciousness and testing the capabilities and the boundaries of those capabilities. There's been some research done in the private sector as well. And it is our assessment that there is a there, and there are things that can't be currently explained, and there isn't a large body of science on this either. So it's something that definitely needs to be looked at. And some of the most basic things that we've discovered so far, some of our means of measuring whether or not this actually works or that there's a there can't necessarily be ruled out. So, there's two efforts. There's like trying to prove that it's capable, or trying to rule out all other explanations for why certain correlations or effects happen when we're using that process. And you very quickly get into probabilities, especially with the correlation side of things. So, the probability that any alternate explanation exists for why these correlations are repeatable and measurable leads you down a path that starts to become worthy data, and that data can evolve into evidence. I think correlation gets thrown around quite a bit as maybe being something worthless or not concrete, which is true. But, the phrase correlation is not causation. It's a true statement, but I think it's a lazy way of dismissing correlation as something of value. And it really isn't. Even when deploying the scientific method, correlation is a very important thing. And so that's where we are with the neuromeditative side of things on within our program, is like we see a very interesting level of correlation, and we're trying to get as many folks as we can that have experience and have done research with telepathy, and as it relates to a variety of humans with dispositions and training, and trying to really get as much correlation as we can across a number of experiments. And the experiments are the key to furthering our research when it comes to neuromeditation. We need a lot of creative scientists that understand how to deploy the scientific method and understand how to construct experiments. And I think that's a lot of fun for the folks we have involved, because we do have quite a variety of people with doctorates, their doctorate in a number of sciences, and they're all coming together and trying to formulate experiments that we can conduct in the limited time we have in the field. I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, definitely.
All right, vetters, we'll see you on the next video. I'll put links in the description to everything if you want to go check it out for yourself. That Watch Mojo interview with Matthew Pines and Jake Barber is 2 hours, so definitely well worth the watch. So much more that I didn't cover in this video, and I'll also put a link to the Skywatcher episode 2. If you haven't seen that yet, you can go watch that. As always, thank y'all so much for watching, and again, thank you so much for helping us reach 50,000 subscribers. Madre mia, me cago en la leche. Let's go, boy. All right, we'll see you on the next video, vetters. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.